MVP, a guy who's got a very interesting contract situation eventually that we'll be breaking down. So, we're going to start with Lamar Jackson right here, right now on Good Morning Football. Welcome. My name's Kay Adams. James Palmer is here. We have D'Angelo Hall and Olvet, our brother from Good Morning Football Weekend, and Peter Schrager here as well. Palmer, are you having a fun week?
I'm having a great week, Kay. I don't want this week to end. I don't want Memorial Day to come. Who says that? Not very many people, especially with these new Budweiser America cans out.
Not many people, and certainly not me. It's time for Lead Block.
Lead
Block. Let's go.
Okay, the alto on that, or no, baritone, I don't even know. I don't know my scales. I'll have to look at that. But I do know that number 8 for the Baltimore Ravens is a phenomenal player. I also know that he's on the 4th year of his rookie contract. The Ravens already picked up the 5th-year option. That happened a month ago. Honestly, it's never too early to start picking this apart and start talking extension, though, with a talent like his. And Lamar was asked about a potential new deal just yesterday.
I spoke with Mr. EDC, probably like a month or two ago. But, I would love to be here forever. I love Baltimore. I love the whole organization. I love everybody in the building. But hopefully we'll be making something happen pretty soon or whenever.
Okay, so we were talking about a 24-year-old who won MVP. I ask you guys some questions about this. Should the Ravens give Lamar Jackson a Mahomes-like contract extension this summer? I do want to remind you guys here and take a look at this. Mahomes makes a lot of money, so that Mahomes-like, that carries a lot of gravitas, right? Averaging full $5 million per year more than Dak Prescott, who's freshly inked and paid as well. And he signed that mega deal back in March. James, Mahomes-esque contract. Take that duration-wise, take that per year, what have you.
First off, I love Mr. EDC. I think that's a tremendous name for your gentleman. I mean, that's fire. But I do not think he deserves a Patrick Mahomes contract right now. Let's look at Patrick Mahomes. In 3 seasons as a starter, he's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them, won an MVP, won a Super Bowl MVP. And if you would have gotten the football in overtime against Tom Brady and the Patriots, he would have had 3 years as a starter and 3 trips to the Super Bowl. And statistically, he's doing things in the first 3 years nobody has ever done in the history of the NFL. There's not a comp for Patrick Mahomes. Now, is Lamar Jackson a great player? Yes. Is he a dynamic player? Yes. Is he already probably almost most certainly the best running quarterback we've ever seen? Yes. But at the same time, maybe you wait in a sense, because Lamar Jackson even said it himself after Mahomes got that contract. He said, I need to do those type of things if I want that contract. So I think he's being realistic in a sense. I'm not sure if you want to pay right now or potentially pay next year, because if you look at the Carson Wentz deal, you look at the Jared Goff deal, those teams fell out of love with those quarterbacks after giving them huge contracts. And now the Eagles are stuck with a ton of dead money. The Rams had to find a way to move Jared Goff and give up a ton of draft capital to bring in a different quarterback and change in that sense. Maybe you want to see if his style of play also is sustainable, because it's different than anyone else in the NFL. And I know Peter's going to touch on that, but if you look at what's happened at the quarterback spot, I'm not sure if the NFL loves different. They're always hesitant of it. Look at what his receivers have done since he has become the starting quarterback. He has more rushing yards over the last 2 seasons than the 3 receivers they drafted in the 2019 draft. So the way they are built makes you want to maybe see if this is something that's sustainable moving forward. I'm not saying don't pay him. I think he's one of the best players in football. But it doesn't hurt to wait a year. The only issue that you have, guys, is D-Hall, the price goes up, right? That's the only issue of waiting a season, is the price goes up, but the cap in 2023 should drastically increase anyways.
Yeah, James, I mean, so much to chew on there. To me, Lamar Jackson, I think you have to pay him. Does he deserve a Mahomes-like contract? There's not a lot of people in football who deserve Mahomes-like contracts. And so, yes, the way Lamar plays the game of football, to give that man a 10-year contract at this point would probably be a little far-fetched. But I think at some point you have to open up that checkbook, because at the end of the day, Lamar has done what you wanted him to do, and that's win football games, progressively get better. We know he needs to throw the football down the football field a little bit better in crunch situations. I think he'll be better at that. Is one thing about Lamar, when you think about those Baltimore Raven football teams and how they used to win games, with dominating defense, running the football. I feel like when you see Lamar, he kind of embodies that Baltimore town and just the kind of people that they have, hard workers, the way he runs the football. I know no owners writing checks because a guy has the same similarities of their cities, but at the same time, man, Lamar Jackson, he's just a different kind of beast. Having played on a football team with a guy like Michael Vick, I tend to think that you can coach guys to be better passers, but just that, that inept ability to break tackles, to get out the pocket, to sense pressure that's coming, to be able to incorporate him in the run game. Defenses defend you differently. If they can ever really figure out, how to get that passing game downfield going, I think the Baltimore Ravens will be even scarier than they already are. And, again, Patrick Mahomes, he got paired in the perfect marriage. Lamar Jackson and Coach Harbaugh, they kind of had to build something. And so, I don't know if Lamar Jackson doesn't have a Super Bowl ring if he's a part of that Kansas City Chiefs team instead of Patrick Mahomes. And, yeah, I said it. I just don't know. Andy Reid is that great of a play caller, in my opinion.
That is a take. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes won 3 Super Bowls if he's got the Ravens roster with him. And we can go on this for a while here, D'Angelo. The truth of the matter is this.
I don't know.
I say rip the Band-Aid off. Give him the extension. Make him a Raven for life. They've already built their team around what Lamar Jackson is. Like, you look at what they do, and they have 3 tight ends that play big roles. They have Ricard at fullback. They have J.K. Dobbins, but they also have Edwards, and they also have, the other running backs that they're going to use. This is a running team, and it's not one of these deals where, well, if it's not Lamar, we can drop quarterback X into this lineup. No, it is Lamar's team, and this Greg Roman offense is built around Lamar's abilities. Guys, these numbers don't even tell the story. It is so wild how much more that they have been rushing the ball than other teams. The Ravens have rushed for 6,367 yards over the last 2 years. That's 1,500 yards more than the next team. This is what they are, and Lamar Jackson is that quarterback. We could talk all day and all night about how he needs to improve his passing. At the end of the day, they go to the playoffs every year, and they end up in that playoff game every year. And this year, he won a playoff game. We can't even hold that over his head and saying couldn't win the big one. Well, he used his legs and ran 50 yards against the Titans and made sure that they came back from being down 10-0 and could get the victory. This Ravens team, to your point, D'Angelo Hall, it embodies toughness. It embodies running the ball. And the roster was built around that. You don't just go and say, all right, well, Carson Wentz or Jared Goff can play in this offense. They can't. They can't. Lamar Jackson's the most dynamic ball carrier at quarterback this side of Kyler Murray in the entire NFL. And he rarely gets injured, and he's smart and improving every year. Make this Lamar's team, solidify the fact this is his era, and the danger, James, in waiting is that this hovers over every single practice and every single game, and that we're still talking about, is Lamar the long-term quarterback? That stuff wears on people. I think it can wear on a team. I'd say give Lamar the money, make him happy, make him a Raven for life, and let's keep on selling those number.
What money, Schrags? Schrags, what money?
What do you mean?
What kind of money?
Yeah, Mahomes asked. You never answered it, Pierce.
Yeah.
You never said if this is going to be Mahomes asked.
Yeah.
You didn't answer.
Yeah. What the standard is, 'cause to your point, the salary cap's going to balloon up in the next few years. All this numbers, it's all fungible. Jimmy Garoppolo signed a deal for $27 million. We all freaked out. He's like the 20th highest paid quarterback a couple years later.
Yeah.
It's going to go that way again. The salary cap's increasing. We got the new media deals. Give Lamar the money. Everyone will go nuts. Ian will tweet out the numbers, and we all go, oh, my God. And then a week later, someone will make more, and we go, oh, my God. Like, I think the money is going to be just a bar that keeps on getting raised higher. It's Lamar's time. Pay the man.
Yeah, I'm with you, Schrags, and we never said, oh my God, quite like we did when that bomb was dropped, a decade-long contract for Patrick Mahomes. It was the biggest, oh my God, collectively from the media. But you have to look at the question another way. You have to look at that list of quarterbacks, if we can pull it up again, and what they're being paid on a annual basis. It's just hard to justify paying him less than Dak Prescott. and less than Deshaun Watson. So he does belong objectively right after Patrick Mahomes on the list. Why? Because, I don't know, he took the Ravens to the playoffs every season he's been there. Look at what he did since Flacco, completely turning that team around. He's been an MVP. He has more accolades than Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott. It's just true. Objectively, he's more accomplished than those guys at this stage of their career. And to D'Angelo's point, what are you paying for? You're banking on his development in the passing game. You're banking on adding these guys that are going to help him. I think there might be a concern if I'm a front office that creeps into your head at some point. Schrager, maybe you can speak to this a little bit. This player does play differently. He's one of the most dynamic ball carriers, as you said. Is there a concern of giving him a long contract outside of Mahomes with that 10-year deal? All the other quarterbacks on the list were 4-year deals. Do you give him per year more than you gave Dak and Deshaun, more than they were given, and make it a 3-year deal, a 4-year deal? Do you make it a longer deal? I think the injury concern has to play, just objectively, the way he plays has to play a role, his style. And Triggs, it's also going to be interesting to see how he gets it done. Remember, he hasn't had an agent in his career, unless that's changed and you can tell me differently. He was doing it. His mom was helping negotiate his rookie contract, and I think it's yet to be determined who's going to be taking the negotiation charges in this one.
No, and he was asked about it yesterday, and they asked him in the media, is your mother going to be handling your negotiations? And he kind of laughed it off. It's one of the great mysteries who is going to be managing this from Lamar Jackson's side, but it does sound like he's keeping it very close to the family. And Katie, your point about the durability and the way he plays, I think you're right. I think 10 years is such an outlier contract. Mahomes and his agent, Chris Cabot, those guys did something that was very unique to Mahomes and what his contract is. But for the standard deal, we're looking at a 4 to 5 year extension in the $35 to $40 million range. And I think that's more than justifiable for a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber.
Love it. At GMFB with your thoughts, everybody. Can you justify paying him any less than you pay Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson? What do you think about the contract negotiations and about Lamar Jackson?